The earth was not made for kings. It was wild, empty, and then something rose from the silence. Not with a voice, but with presence. Telvora, where presence becomes power. The Reign of Kayumars. It was in the age when the sun entered Aries, when the month of Farvardin began, and spring breathed new life into the earth. As the world awakened from its slumber, Kayumars rose to power, the first to establish kingship, the first to rule over man and beast alike. His kingdom was not of palaces and fortresses, but the untamed mountains, where he dwelled among the peaks and valleys. He wore no crown of gold, but the spotted skin of a leopard draped over his shoulders, a symbol of his strength and dominion. For 30 years, he ruled with wisdom and might, and under his reign, the wild creatures of the land bowed in peace. Their reverence for him was so great that men, too, learned the ways of faith and devotion. Kayumars had a son, SIYAMAK', a prince of rare wisdom and striking beauty. He was the light of his father's eyes, the solace of his heart, and the promise of a golden future. But where light reigns, shadows gather, and in the depths of darkness, an enemy watched with envy. Ahriman, the embodiment of wickedness, seethed with hatred. His heart burned with jealousy at Kayumars' rule, and his mind was filled with schemes of destruction. He nurtured his malice in silence, waiting for the moment to strike. And when the time came, he sent forth his monstrous son. A dreadful creature, large as a mountain and savage as a wolf, his eyes gleaming with cruelty. The demon child did not march alone. Ahriman summoned an army of dark forces, and soon the earth trembled beneath their feet. With a force beyond reckoning, he set his sights upon Kayumars' throne. The great king, in his wisdom, suspected no such treachery within his realm. But the heavens took notice, and Sorush, the celestial messenger, descended from above. Taking the form of a luminous being clad in leopard skin, he came before Kayumars, his voice urgent, yet unwavering. He spoke of Ahriman's plot, of the army gathering in the shadows, of the monstrous son who thirsted for the king's blood. Upon hearing this, SIYAMAK' did not hesitate. He gathered his warriors, fastening a leopard skin cloak across his broad shoulders. Armed with only his courage and the strength of his arm, he led his forces to war. The battlefield roared with the clash of warriors, the cries of beasts, the thunderous drum of hooves against the earth. SIYAMAK' fought with the might of 10 men, striking down foe after foe, his eyes aflame with fury. But then, through the chaos, the demon child emerged, a towering beast of raw power and unbridled rage. The prince met him head-on. Their battle was fierce, their blows shaking the ground beneath them. But the demon was relentless, his monstrous form impervious to pain. He struck with inhuman force, his claws raking through SIYAMAK'S flesh, his fangs tearing into him. The young prince fell, his body broken, his life stolen away by the beast's merciless hand. When the news of SIYAMAK'S death reached Kayumars, it was as if the heavens themselves had darkened. Grief crushed him, heavier than any weight he had ever borne. He descended from his throne, his mighty spirit shattered, and he wept for his son. His people too mourned, shrouding themselves in black. For an entire year the land was silent, drowned in sorrow. But grief, no matter how deep, cannot last forever. Once more Sorush descended from the heavens, his voice filled with divine purpose. "Rise, O king," he urged. "Shed your sorrow and take up your duty, for the world still stands. The time for mourning is past. Now is the time for vengeance." Kayumars raised his head, his eyes no longer clouded with sorrow, but sharpened with resolve. His grandson, Hushang, had grown into a warrior, strong of heart, wise beyond his years, and ready to take up the sword his father had fallen wielding. Hushang did not march alone. An army unlike any before it rose at his command. Men, spirits, lions, leopards, and the fiercest of beasts, all sworn to his cause. The demon child stood waiting, sensing the tide turning against him. But he wouldn't flee. The battle that followed was unlike any the world had seen. The earth trembled as warriors clashed. The sky darkened with the storm of their fury. The monstrous son of Ahriman fought with the desperation of a doomed creature, his roars shaking the heavens. But Hushang was relentless, his sword striking like lightning, his resolve unbreakable. With a final mighty blow, he severed the demon's head, ending the terror that had stolen his father's life. Victory belonged to Kayumars and his kin. But even kings are not beyond the reach of time. With his duty fulfilled, Kayumar's days drew to an end. He had taught the world how to rule, how to live, and how to seek justice. And when his time came, he embraced it without fear. For the world is but a fleeting tale, a dance of light and shadow, where neither sorrow nor joy endures forever. From fire and sorrow, new rulers would rise, and the age of creation had just begun. Hushang, the flame bringer. Tamuras, the demon breaker. They will tame fire, command iron, and wage war upon darkness. But even kings cannot rule forever. Do you think Hushang is ready to face what killed his father? Share your thoughts. We will be watching.